The doctor part, like I can't put a name to it, but I know that was a part of the conversation because it all happened at once for me. I know exactly where we were. We were in Sacramento.
At Oakland, I had Phoenix, I had the Lakers, and I had the Celtics. And I'm just being honest with everybody. I tried to link with him, and I couldn't get him on the line.
Basically what RJ is saying in terms of what a fit James Harden is, because he can be electrifying, and we get that. And I certainly want to give my man big props in terms of what he said about how Philadelphia had to do something. But I also, in saying that, I want to say for the record, this could potentially, not definitively, but this could potentially go down as the worst day in the career of Daryl Morey.
Like to this day, I still think about that.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah. Because I'm like, they promised me. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we taking you. We taking you.
Did they?
I'm talking all the way up to draft day. You understand? We taking you. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to Detroit.
Imagine LeBron James in a Pistons jersey. Picture Kobe Bryant suiting up for the Bulls. Crazy, right? But here's the kicker. These weren't just fever dreams. They were trades that came within inches of changing NBA history forever. Today, we're diving into the wildest what-ifs in basketball. The biggest trades that almost happened. Buckle up, because the NBA you know was one phone call away from being completely different. Let's kick things off with the trade that would have shaken the league to its core. Kobe Bryant to the Chicago Bulls. It's 2007. Kobe's fed up with the Lakers. He wants out. The Bulls are ready to pounce. They offer Luol Deng, Ben Gordon, Tyrese Thomas, and Joakim Noah. Lakers are interested. Kobe's got his bags packed. But at the last second, Jerry Buss pulls the plug. So, why didn't this trade happen? It all came down to Jerry Buss, the Lakers owner. Buss couldn't bear to see Kobe in another jersey. He saw Kobe as the face of the franchise, the heir to Magic Johnson's legacy. Buss believed that trading Kobe would be like trading away the soul of the Lakers. Plus, he was confident he could turn things around and build a contender around Kobe. There was also the matter of Kobe's no-trade clause. Even though Kobe had demanded a trade, he still had the power to veto any deal. Reports suggest that Kobe was lukewarm about going to Chicago if it meant gutting the team of all its young talent. He wanted to win now, not rebuild. Now, picture this. Kobe and Derrick Rose tearing up the Eastern Conference. Would the Heat's Big Three ever have formed? Would MJ's legacy in Chicago have a new chapter? We'll never know, but it's wild to think about. Next up, LeBron James to the Detroit Pistons. Yeah, you heard that right. It's 2003. LeBron's still in high school. The Pistons have the number 2 pick. They're thinking, why not trade up? They offer the Cavs their pick, plus Tayshaun Prince and Rip Hamilton. The Cavs are tempted, really tempted, but they can't pull the trigger. So why didn't this trade happen? First off, the Cavs knew they had a once-in-a-generation talent in LeBron. He wasn't just any number 1 pick. He was a hometown hero, destined to save basketball in Cleveland. Trading away that storyline would have been PR suicide. But there's more to it. The Pistons' offer, while tempting, wasn't a sure thing. Prince and Hamilton were good players, but neither was a superstar. The Cavs would be trading a potential franchise player for solid starters. It was too big a risk. Plus, there were financial considerations. LeBron, as the number 1 pick, would be on a rookie contract. This gave the Cavs financial flexibility to build around him. Trading for established players would have eaten into their cap space. Imagine LeBron starting his career with a ready-made championship team. Would he have 6 rings by now? Would the Pistons be the team of the 2000s? Again, we can only wonder. Now, let's talk about the trade that would have changed 2 franchises forever. Steph Curry to the Milwaukee Bucks. It's 2012. The Warriors are shopping Curry. His ankles are a question mark. The Bucks offer Andrew Bogut. The Warriors are interested. They're this close to pulling the trigger. But at the last second, they decide to keep Curry and trade Monta Ellis instead. Why didn't this trade happen? It came down to a mix of foresight and luck. The Warriors front office, particularly GM Bob Myers and owner Joe Lacob, saw something special in Curry, despite his ankle issues. They believed that if they could get his injuries under control, He could be a transformative player. There was also the matter of fan sentiment. Warriors fans loved Monta Ellis, and trading him was already a risky move PR-wise. Trading away both Ellis and Curry might have caused a full-scale fan revolt, but let's not underestimate the role of chance. If Curry's ankle had acted up one more time, or if the Bucks had sweetened their offer just a little more, we might be living in a very different NBA world. Think about it. No Splash Brothers, no Warriors dynasty. Maybe the Bucks become the team to beat in the East much earlier. Does Giannis still end up in Milwaukee? The entire landscape of the NBA shifts. Let's switch gears to a more recent almost trade. James Harden to the Sixers in 2020. Daryl Morey's just taken over in Philly. He wants to reunite with Harden. The Sixers offer Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle. The Rockets are intrigued, but they decide to send Harden to the Nets instead. So why didn't this trade happen? A few factors were at play. First, the Rockets owner, Tillman Fertitta, was reportedly reluctant to deal with Morey, who had recently left the Rockets organization. There was some bad blood there. Secondly, the Nets offer, which included a boatload of draft picks, was simply more attractive to a Rockets team looking to rebuild. The Sixers offer was centered around Ben Simmons, a known quantity. The Rockets preferred the flexibility and potential of draft picks. Lastly, Harden himself reportedly preferred Brooklyn. The chance to team up with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving was too good to pass up. While players don't always have the final say in trades, their preferences can certainly influence decisions. Imagine Harden and Embiid together 2 years earlier. Does this change the outcome of the 2021 playoffs? Does Ben Simmons avoid his meltdown in Philly? Again, the ripple effects are mind-boggling. Now here's one that's not as flashy, but could have changed everything. The Pistons almost trading up for Carmelo Anthony in 2003. The Pistons had the number 2 pick. They were eyeing Darko Milicic, but they also considered trading up for Melo. They decide against it. We all know how that turned out. But why didn't the Pistons pull the trigger? It came down to a combination of factors. First, there was the widespread belief that European big men were the next big thing in the NBA. Dirk Nowitzki had just come into his own, and teams were scrambling to find the next international star. Secondly, the Pistons already had Tayshaun Prince at small forward. They believed they needed a big man more than another wing player. It's classic draft strategy, picking for need rather than best player available. Lastly, there were concerns about how Melo would fit into the Pistons' defensive-minded, team-first culture. Melo was seen as a score-first player, and there were questions about his commitment to defense. But what if they had made the trade? Melo joins a team that's about to win a championship. Does he develop into a more complete player? Do the Pistons win multiple titles? Does Denver ever become relevant in the 2000s? It's crazy to think about. Let's talk about a big man who almost changed teams, Kevin Garnett to the Lakers in 2007. Before KG went to the Celtics, the Lakers were in hot pursuit. They offered Lamar Odom and Andrew Bynum. The Timberwolves were interested. But KG didn't want to go to the Western Conference. He ends up in Boston instead. So why didn't this trade materialize? The biggest factor was KG himself. He had a no-trade clause in his contract, giving him the power to veto any deal. KG was tired of the brutal Western Conference playoffs. He saw an easier path to the finals in the East. There was also the matter of legacy. KG knew that winning in Boston, with its rich basketball history, would mean more than being another star who joined the Lakers. The chance to bring a championship back to the NBA's most storied franchise was too good to pass up. Lastly, the Celtics' offer was simply better. They were willing to part with Al Jefferson, a young big man with huge potential. The Lakers' offer of Odom and Bynum, while solid, couldn't match up. Imagine Kobe and KG together. Do they win multiple championships? Does this prevent the Celtics' Big Three from ever forming? The entire power structure of the league could have been different. Here's one that's more recent. Kawhi Leonard to the Sixers in 2018. The Spurs are shopping Kawhi. The Sixers offer Ben Simmons. The Spurs are intrigued, but the Sixers get cold feet. They don't want to risk it all on a one-year rental. Kawhi ends up in Toronto. Why didn't this trade happen? The Sixers' hesitation came down to risk assessment. Kawhi was coming off a season where he'd barely played due to injury. There were questions about his health and his commitment. Moreover, Kawhi had made it clear he wanted to play in Los Angeles. The Sixers feared they'd be giving up a young star in Simmons for a one-year rental. They weren't willing to mortgage their future on such an uncertain prospect. There was also the matter of fit. The Sixers were building around Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. They believed in this core and were reluctant to break it up. They thought Simmons' passing and defense complemented Embiid's scoring and rim protection perfectly. Think about it. Kawhi and Embiid together. Does Philly win a championship? Does Toronto ever get their magical 2019 run? The entire trajectory of the Eastern Conference changes. Let's wrap up with one more. Chris Paul to the Lakers in 2011. The deal is done. CP3 is headed to LA to team up with Kobe. But then David Stern vetoes the trade. Basketball reasons, he says. The league owns the Hornets at the time, so he can do that. This is perhaps the most controversial almost trade in NBA history. So why didn't it happen? Officially, Stern cited basketball reasons, arguing that the trade wasn't in the best interest of the Hornets, who were owned by the league at the time. But there was more to it. Small market owners had reportedly pressured Stern to veto the trade. They saw it as another case of a big market team taking advantage of a smaller market. Remember, this was right after LeBron had taken his talents to South Beach. There was a lot of tension about competitive balance in the league. There were also financial considerations. The Lakers were set to save a ton of money in luxury tax payments with this trade. Other owners weren't happy about that. Lastly, some speculate that Stern was trying to make the Hornets more attractive to potential buyers. A rebuilding team with young assets and draft picks might have been more appealing than one built around the veterans the Lakers were offering. Imagine CP3 and Kobe together. Do they win multiple championships? Does this extend Kobe's career? Does this prevent the Lob City Clippers from ever forming? It's wild to think how different the league would look. So there you have it. The biggest trades that almost happened in NBA history. Kobe to the Bulls, LeBron to the Pistons, Steph to the Bucks. The league we know today was hanging by a thread. One different decision, one different phone call, and everything changes. But here's the thing. There are probably dozens more trades just like these happening right now. Trades that could reshape the entire league. Trades that we might look back on in a few years and say, what if? So next time you hear a trade rumor, don't brush it off, because you might be witnessing the start of the next big almost in NBA history. Who knows? Maybe years from now, we'll be making videos about the trades that almost happened in 2024. The ones that could have changed everything. The ones that were this close to rewriting NBA history. Stay tuned, because in the NBA, the next big almost trade is always just around the corner.